Hey, how's everybody doing? This is JJ with Deluxe Vehicle Detailing and Paint Correction here in beautiful Seminole, Florida. I am in my home shop garage, and I want to talk to you first off that this is actually part two. I am going to film a series of subjects all related to removing ceramic coating, removing water spots that would be under your ceramic coating, but you could also learn something as far as just removing water spots from paint that have reappeared and become now phantom water spots. So this is the problem that I had with this car. I polished it out perfectly. I laid my 2 coats of Dallas Paint Correction shield, and then miraculously, maybe that's the wrong word, but within weeks, I saw water spots starting to come back up, and these water spots got more and more as the weeks went on. Absolutely, terrible in my situation. Luckily, this isn't a client's car. This is my 2006 BMW Z4 M Series, and I got these water spots because I have an overhead AC handler, and there was an exposed copper pipe. I really didn't think any big thing would become of that because I saw some water spots on it occasionally in the middle of the hood. I knew I was going to be doing a heavy correction on this car, a full wet sanding, not full of the entire car, but a lot of wet sanding as far as scratches. I had some deep rids, and the car was just riddled with holograms and swirls from the previous owner. So I went into this thinking, okay, I'm just going to polish these out. It's going to be no big deal. They polished out quite easily, and magically they reappeared. So I do want to thank Scott Bly from Dallas Paint Correction. He and I had some private messages. He convinced me that I shouldn't try and use a high pH chemical degreaser cleaner to remove ceramic coating. He said it's a lot easier with polishing. I also want to thank Sam at Wicked Auto Protection. He's got a great video that's titled, let me get this right for you. It's titled, How to Remove Water Spots from Paint / Heat Cycling Water Spots on Car, Chevelle SS. And Sam and I had some conversations as well, and I really do want to thank him that he also confirmed that, forget the cleaning off of the ceramic coating stage and just get yourself right to polishing. It's 1 to 4 microns. It comes right off fairly easily. I am going to show you how I'm going to test how when I know, this was one of my kind of big questions since it's my first removal of ceramic coating. How do you know when it's gone? And I'm going to do a water test. I'm going to take 1 ounce of distilled water, and I'm going to pour it in different places as I work, and also use a spray bottle of distilled water. I'm going to show you the effects right now of doing that, or in this video. And I am going to then know when the water kind of flattens out that I'm back to the clear coat. So it's kind of a way to check, right? I'm going to give you in this video just kind of an all-around overview. Yes, I put plastic down over my fenders, down my tires. I've got actually some towels around the car. This was when I thought I would be doing a lot of washing off of the degreasers and things like that. As I kind of experimented around, I decided I will experiment on a junk panel that I'll ceramic coat and not my own personal vehicle. So I'm going to take you around just the entire perimeter of the garage and show you some of the things that I do. For my quality of air in this garage, as far as dust and particles that are floating in the air, I have an air conditioning unit here, air conditioning filter in front of a box fan, and I also have just a regular general round fan. and I will move these around the garage, usually a couple days before I do a correction, and just let them run 24 hours a day. Really does an amazing job of removing some of the dust and debris in this garage. I have, blacked out windows, taped them off with Gorilla Glue tape. I've blacked off vent windows that have quite large vents in them. They allowed, things like wasps and things to fly in. I also have sealed some of the seams along here with some expanding insulator just to, make sure I keep this garage as contaminant free as possible. I'm going to be starting off with the rotary, and the rotary is your best friend to, cut to the quick and do some heavy correction. I'm going to want to be removing this ceramic coating along with the SiO2, along with the Kingsguard rather quickly. I'll show you the pads I'm going to use, but I'm going to start with the rotary. I'm going to move from that to polishing pads with the Rupes Melee, and really love this. This is forced rotation, 5-inch pad. I'm going to come in with a little 3-inch pad work with the Harbor Freight Chicago Electric. Also, I've got some tight edges in here and really hard to get to with a 5-inch pad. So I'm going to drop down to a 3 just in these areas, and probably along the character lines too. You've got to be careful with these edges because your clear coat is thinner. Kind of take you in there. This is one way you can always tell if Z4 you're looking at is an M series from a distance. The M series is the only one that has the 2 different character lines along the hood. So just as I'm going around my room, I've got my washer set up, ready to go. Dump my towels in here. I will do a little PSA here, and wear a respirator when using solvents. You want to protect your lungs, you want to protect your eyes, you want to protect your skin with gloves, and it just makes sense, right? You also want to protect your clear coat. So you've got to have a paint gauge, depth gauge. I have done a survey of this hood. I'm not going to worry about the numbers right now, but actually with the coating, I could see a increase in the microns that are applied to this, so I know I've got a few microns to take off. And I am going to be using some body solvents, some paint preps as I do my polishing. I am going to be doing some polishing with first my Rupes coarse blue pads. I think that and just my logic, that with the wool, I'm going to be able to pick up and remove the layers to get to the clear coat a little easier with a wool pad. I will probably be doing, the car was completely polished to perfection when I put the ceramic coating down. So the clear coat doesn't really need any overall polishing, but I am going to be doing some wet sanding, and so I'm going to come in with the Lake Country Orange Force pads, and I really love these. They are quite versatile, and I will then be polishing with my Lake Country. I believe they're called CCV. I should know that. Anyway, these Lake Country pads, which you can see, got them from Detailed Image. They're great. I'm going to go with also, this is a 3.5-inch pad, and I will be using the Lake Country HDO for getting into these tight spots and removal. These really fit in a nice area. You can see the beveled edge. It allows me to get and keep this flat and not hit any tape right until I reach that spot. So then I'll be doing a little lift and getting that last little bit of inch, right? As far as my wet sanding goes, I will be coming in first with the heavy spots. I like this little finger sanding disc. You can pull the sandpaper up. I've got 1500 grit on this, and I'm just going to be going over some of the water spots are kind of out on the edges of the perimeter of where the main ones are. So this will allow me to kind of control a very small area of where I'm wet sanding on those spots. I will then be moving overall to the larger area with 2000 grit. This is, let's see, Norton Magnum Black Ice. I really do like this sandpaper a lot. I've got everything in distilled water here in the bucket just so I'm not introducing any more minerals into anything. I will then be moving to my workhorse sanding method is the 3M Trizac, and these have a little foam backing on them. It's nice. You can use them on a machine, or you can use them by hand, which actually I like the control I have by using this I got off Amazon. Real nice, real control. Like I said, you can see that foam right there that is actually behind the sandpaper. And when you use one of these, you can squeeze it and kind of flush out. It's not very saturated right now. But here's another one I have actually in Amazon. They come with a set of two. So they've got the Velcro here, but they also have this foam core so that when you get them wet, you can squeeze this whole thing. The water flushes out through and flushes your 3-inch circular pad absolutely perfectly. So I'm really a big fan of these overall. After I get done wet sanding, in Sam's video from Wicked Auto Protection, he's got an IR lamp, infrared lamp. It's about $200 on Amazon. I'm not willing to, hopefully this is going to be a one-time use, and I'm not going to put $200 out. I am going to, for safety-wise, I'm going to be using my infrared thermometer so that I can tell exactly how much heat I'm applying. You can see it's 60.8 degrees on my cement wall. And I'm going to be using a heat gun. Now, I'm not going to advise that you do this. This could be somewhat dangerous. I want to be able to heat the panel up. Sam suggested I go to about 140 degrees. And I am going to, from distance and keeping it moving, I am going to heat cycle this area. And this is kind of the critical part of, why I'm doing this. I don't want to just polish these out like I did before and then go, hey, I did it. Look, it looks perfect. Then put my solvent-based ceramic coating on it and have this happen again. So if you heat cycle and the water spots don't come back, then rest assured you've done things correctly. So that's my overview overall for you. I am going to, keep using, this is a shot glass. I'm going to use distilled water. I'm going to check my work. And I'm also going to use distilled water in my spray bottle. Once I have determined, look at that beading, accidentally got some water on there. Once I have determined that I have got everything off of here, as far as the coatings go, and I'm down to naked bare clear coat, that's when I'm going to come in and wet sand. Once I've got all the wet sand marks out of there, I'll do, probably a light polish, maybe a light jewel after that on the rest of the clear coat. Make sure everything's all virgin. Make sure that the hood is ready for its new coating. And then apply Dallas Paint Corrections. Just came out. This is February 8th as I'm filming. So it came out about 2 weeks ago. I ordered it, and I'm looking forward to putting the new coating down just on this hood. I'm actually even considering not putting any toppers or SiO2 things on it, although it is nice if it is a little safety margin. I think once I look at those cat scratch marks, I've got one here and I've got one here, and then I've got several other places on the car. But I'm going to just work on these light scratches quickly with the white pad. Oh, I skipped one thing. My compounds and polishes, right? So I'm a big fan of Sonax Cut Max. I'm going to do a little more trial basis with this Barney's Impressive. You can see I haven't used much of it, but it's got some major cut to it. And just to cut through those coatings right away, I wanted to use what I can. I am also a big fan of the Sonax Perfect Finish. I think as a one-step, body shop safe, no fillers, anything like that. Absolutely wonderful. And my Griot's Garage Perfecting Cream. I got real good results using like a black pad, and I did some jeweling on this before I applied the ceramic coating, and I really thought it ticked it up a level. Really impressed with that. So anyway, that's my overall. I'm going to bring you back. This video is already 16.5 minutes long. Sorry, I know I'm long-winded. I know that there's a lot in this, but like I said, this is the overview. This is, everything I plan on doing here and all the next steps. So I think I've covered everything. Looks like on my sheet I have. So I'll be bringing you back for video 3, and that will be the polishing stage and how I see the process going as I'm going. So I thank each and every one of you for being with me. Like I said, just hit that play all, start at part 1, go to the play all, and I'll do them in reverse order. I'll upload them in reverse order, so you'll be able to just part 1, sit back, relax while I go through the parts, and you come here through all of this with me. All right, I thank you. Remember to always give me a thumbs up. It helps my analytics. I do appreciate it. Share, comment if you can. There's some new parameters of commenting on YouTube I think I have figured out. And also hit the notification bell, bing, so that you are given notification when new videos drop. All right. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.